uncomfortable details.
I'm happy to know that my story that I submitted kind of fits in with the grisly theme I've seen so far. I wasn't sure if it'd be out of place. I moved into an apartment when I moved back to Houston as a returning student to St. Thomas on Fairview Street. It was a kind of a communal living situation, which was something new to me. And upon my first time doing laundry, I found a man asleep in the laundry room, the door shut suddenly, and I was filled with this strange feeling with the encounter, though he posed no threat. But I immediately wrote this story after the encounter. I won't give away the end, so I'll just give you a little taste. The Hanged Man. John awoke to find a hanged man in his backyard. He first noticed him swinging as he was brushing his teeth and looking through the bathroom window on the second story of his home, a home which overlooked a backyard where he had grown parsley next to the large oak tree and another small garden planted with tomatoes. And he saw this man swinging from a low, sturdy branch of the oak. It was one of the deciding factors that led to him to buy the house in the first place, that oak. The tree had a certain life of its own, a strange kind of personality which he enjoyed. As for the dead man, his face was blue and his lips swollen. Even up from in the bathroom, John noticed the eyes, still white and bulging from the lifeless face. What does one do in this situation? He thought to himself. He spat out a mouthful of toothpaste suds into the dark marble of the sink. He must call the police. Yes, that's what he would do. John supposed things like this must happen all the time. It just hasn't happened to him yet. He knew things like this happened. And now it had happened in his own backyard. John had lived alone a long time, and so he made himself breakfast before he called, breakfast and coffee. After all, the man wasn't going anywhere now, and there seemed to be no harm in having breakfast, as he would have had on any other morning. The broken tile in his kitchen crunched audibly under his slippers as he waited. He could not help but part the blinds once or twice as his eggs sputtered in the pan and peek out at the swinging dead man in his backyard. Phoning the police was not difficult at all. The woman on the other line showed nearly no emotion as he described the dead man as he found him. Probably just some vagrant, sir. This has been a particularly cold winter, and it was probably just too much for him. John then asked her, it's hard to say why he did it, but she said, sir, we'll send a patrol right away, sir. They should arrive in a few minutes. For a moment he felt excited and his heart raced. John felt as if he should maybe call someone else, maybe his sister Margaret. No, she probably would just find it grotesque. Besides, he'd not spoken with her in over a year, and it would seem odd to call up with this particular news. Still, he wished there was someone he could call. It seemed like finally something had come of it all. He finally had something worth saying. John had not gotten close to look at the man and decided to go downstairs before the police arrived and see the corpse. Just have a look at it for himself. After all, it was his backyard the man had decided to kill himself in, and it seemed somehow proper they should meet alone just once before they came and took him wherever it was they were going to take him. The city morgue, he supposed, where he would lay out on a slab and tag on his toe, be prepared and buried off somewhere in a grave that most likely would never be visited by anyone. How awful, John thought to himself. It was a cold day outside, although the rain had subsided. There were dark, black puddles of water strewn across the yard like dead eyes. Only the dead man's eyes were different than the puddles, though equally dark and equally dead. They glared out at John as if they were accusing him of something. Standing there under the swaying body of that dead man, John felt judged as if by God himself, as if he were the one who had hung that man there, as if it was a murder he'd committed. Those eyes, they seemed to scream, it was you. Thank you.
With the church. I really enjoy your picture. You sing.
Yours is great.
Good job. Yeah. Get both in. There we go.
Yeah, absolutely.